Hi everybody, I'm clutching my cucumber, not a euphemism, some celery, and I'm making lunch. Look how pretty is that? Organic rhubarb roasted in the oven last night, and then organic patty pan. Just chucking some bits together. Anyway, because I've been thinking about doing a video for the eclipse, but I just can't quite think when is the time to do it. Felix is in nursery. He's 3, for those of you that don't know, and he's just settling in. So some shorter sessions this week. Hopefully moving on to more kind of full-time, mostly full-time, 30 hours next week. And then my eldest is in year 2 and he's in school. So anyway, yeah, got a bit of time to myself. I don't want to say hours because I don't want to jinx it. Anyway, thoughts on this eclipse are, I'm actually thinking about the eclipses as a pair because they always work as pairs. And this first one we have got, it's early hours of tomorrow morning, and it's easy to like face you and talk to you. In the UK, so for some of us in the world, this one will be happening on the 17th today, and for others of us, it will be on the 18th. Just depends on your time zone. And the next one, so that's at 25 degrees of Pisces. So if you've got any Pisces placements in your birth chart, moon, sun, rising sign, then you're going to be feeling this one more than others, perhaps. And, oh God. Especially, you know, if you've got any planets or angles being AC, DC, MC, IC, around 25 degrees of Pisces, or 25 degrees of the other mutable signs, which are Gemini, Virgo, and Sagittarius, then there's like planetary interaction through aspect. So through lines of aspects, which are either conjunctions, where they're exactly the same degree, give or take a couple of degrees either side. So if this is 25 degrees Pisces, then we're going to go 23 to 27 degrees of the other mutable signs. So yeah, Pisces, Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius. And there will be an activation there either through opposition, where the exactly opposite signs, so 25 degrees Pisces, 25 degrees Virgo, that's an opposition, or a square aspect is going to be 25 degrees of the other mutable signs, because when you look at the zodiac signs in a birth chart, the same kind of energetic feel or modality of the signs. So when I say mutable planets or mutable zodiac signs, then they all speak to each other through a square. So kind of like if you Pisces rising, then you're going to go down here to Gemini on the 4th house cusp, you're going to go to Virgo on the 7th house cusp, and you're going to go to Sagittarius on the 10th house cusp, and they're creating a square aspect, and this is of a particular energy. So it's the nature of Mars when you get a square aspect, and then you start marrying all the symbolism together. So the nature of Mars is kind of a lot of energy, increased kind of blood flow, increased iron levels. It's cutting, it's sharp, it can be harsh, but it can also be invigorating, particularly if you have a nighttime chart. Then Mars is working in its kind of like super energetic sense as opposed to its cutting sense. So yeah, then the next eclipse we've got coming up in 2 weeks' time, 2nd of October, that's at 10 degrees of Libra. I've stopped making my food now, it's looking all right. 10 degrees of Libra. So again, if we're going to think about any planets in our birth chart that are at 10 degrees of Libra, or kind of 8 to 12 degrees of Libra, then, or angles, ascendant, descendant, midheaven, IC, because these are going to be activated either through other like planets in Libra through conjunction, very close together, planets in the opposite sign of Aries, then opposition, and then planets in the other cardinal signs, so the energy of cardinal energy, which, for example, if you're a Cancer rising, I'm just choosing that because it's mine, it's easier for me to remember these visuals. You're going to Cancer on the 1st house cusp, you're going to have Libra on the 4th house cusp, Capricorn on the 7th house cusp, and Aries on the 10th house cusp. So again, you're getting either an opposition aspect with, in this case, we're going Libra, aren't we? So Libra to Aries. So if you've got any planets around 8 to 12 degrees of Aries, then these are going to get activated through the energy of an opposition, which is the nature of Saturn. And typically Saturn's going to be more useful if you've got a daytime chart. Saturn's more helpful, it's constructive, it really understands the process of putting in an effort, dedication, a dedicated effort over a period of time, and it likes to kind of give us rewards for what we've been working hard towards. But it's also this energy of like, I've been working really hard towards this thing, and now that I've got it, is it really what I wanted? And that is a typical Saturn test. That can be the kind of thing that comes up around the Saturn return between the ages of kind of 28 to 30 is when we really start to feel that energy of the Saturn return. And then again at 58 to 60, and then again 28 years later. Stopped for a water there. I think I left the lemons in too long. I left lemons in water in the fridge, but it's been about a week. I don't know if it's got a bit like, it was in like a sealed glass jar, but anyway, it's got a bit bitter. Yeah, so, there's a lot there for kind of everybody to get stuck into, a lot of cardinal energy and a lot of mutable energy. So if you've got a lot of planets in cardinal and mutable signs in your birth chart, then you can still be feeling this, even if you haven't got planets or points in Pisces and Libra. You can still be feeling it. Really important thing to say is that unless you've got Libra rising or Pisces rising, sorry, I should flip that because the first eclipse is going to be in Pisces and the second one's in Libra. So unless you've got Pisces or Libra rising, then this energy, this pair of eclipses, is typically going to show up in other people's lives around you, and you're going to learn about what this eclipse means to you through their experiences. So, for example, if you've got this eclipse in your one of these eclipses in your 8th house, then this experience of the eclipse energy can be heightened through other people's resources, shared resources, mortgages. Sometimes debts can come up, sometimes inheritances can come up, the esteem of other people. So perhaps a windfall showing up which helps you out in a kind of material sense, that kind of thing. In your 7th house, it could be lots going on, lots of changes taking place, endings and new beginnings for your partner, your marriage partner typically, or kind of lifelong partner, or it can be lots of changes coming about through interaction on a one-to-one basis, kind of like through an astrology reading like we might have together, or working with a therapist, for example. And we learn a lot about ourselves through this area of projection in the 7th house. So things that we don't necessarily recognize in ourselves because that's much more 1st house, but things that come at us from somebody else. 10th house is typically going to be connected to career. 6th house is going to be co-workers, perhaps employees, if you run your own business and you employ people. 4th house is kind of parents, grandparents, roots. 3rd house is siblings. 12th house is large pets, like larger than a horse. I love that one. I always love that that symbolism. 11th house is friends. Where are we? 5th house is children. 2nd house, that's personal resources. So that could be like connected to work and your own resources, your own bank account, for example. So if you're a Libra rising or a Pisces rising, then this could be showing up literally like in your body, in your own experience. You are experiencing these eclipses in a very personal way. Also, if you've got a Pisces or a Libra moon or sun, this is very personal to you as well.